Oh, look, Gilgamesh, but it's a dude.
Well, alright. Well, Gilgamesh is a dude.
Yeah. Which is funny, because isn't he, like, super gay?
Extremely gay. That's probably why he's actually a dude.
Yeah.
I think Gilgamesh may be a Fujoshi favorite for Fate.
Yeah, no,
so
I'm actually talking about the Sumerian mythology.
Yeah,
he's
the book of Gilgamesh is gay as fuck.
Hello and welcome to Madoka Magicast, a podcast devoted to the dark magical girl anime Puella Magi Madoka Magica. I'm your host Amanda, and I'm joined by my co-hosts Yasha and Vanna.
Hi!
Hi!
The owners of the biggest revolutionary girl Utena website, Empty Movement, and I'm joining them as they watch Madoka Magica for the first time ever. And we're going to talk about what we love and sometimes what we don't love about the show. And today, we are talking about Episode 3.
Dun dun dun.
The episode that pretty much tells you what this show is going to really be about.
Yeah. I was so excited.
Yeah. So episode 3 is titled I'm Not Afraid of Anything Anymore.
Oh my god, okay. No, you know what that is? That's almost perfectly a line from fucking Dwarf Fortress, believe it or not. Have you ever heard of Dwarf Fortress, Amanda?
I have heard of it, but I have never played it, and I know very little about it.
So
let me go ahead and introduce our credits here. So it first aired January 20th, 2011. Again, third episode in a row, written by Gen Urobuchi. He might actually be the screenwriter for the entire series. I don't know if any other people actually wrote the scripts for any other episodes, but I guess we'll find out. Mm-hmm. It was storyboarded by Yoshiharu Ashino. The episode was directed by Yuki Yase, and the animation was directed by Tomohiro Kamitani and Kazuya Shiotsuki. So, what did you guys think of this episode? This was the one everyone wanted you to see.
Yeah, everyone's like, oh my god, you stopped it too! And just like wigged out, and I'm like, oh dear, clearly something awesome is gonna happen in episode 3, and it did.
And actually, it's kind of hard staying unspoiled because even people's reactions to things tell you so much. When people go, oh, you stopped at 2, you didn't get to 3 yet? You're not gonna go to 3? And we're like, yeah, oh shit, right. Something's coming.
Something happens in 3,
I got something going. Yeah, no, I loved this episode.
Yeah,
good.
Actually, it's really good.
There was just so much garbage for me to chew on in this episode as far as just foreboding nonsense.
And I just want to mention here, like, in between us streaming it and us recording this now, I did end up watching with my friend Laura. I'm pretty sure I mentioned her last time. Maybe I didn't. I can't remember anymore. But she and I had some back and forth because she's got a lot of background with Sailor Moon, and so she was pointing out things to me about this. So every so often I might drop in a little comment that she made because I really don't have the magical girl background to know some of this shit.
And then you'll have something to bounce off of instead of just being like, this is like this, and we're like,
It's okay. No, it's fine. Yeah, absolutely. And that's also something, like, we keep mentioning, like, in the future we could have guests on the show. So
totally.
Yeah. That's another thing where, you know, maybe don't email us quite yet, since we're still 9 episodes away from the ending. Yeah.
We're a babby podcast still.
Yeah.
But no, I like...
But yeah,
this episode was probably my favorite one so far, insofar as, like, actually establishing tone.
Yeah.
And that it kills somebody.
Yeah, and there's some really good character moments.
Yeah.
And,
it feels more like cohesive, I think, because they've gotten away from having to introduce everyone. You can just sort of let it play.
The first 2 episodes really did feel like we're introducing and setting the boundaries of this world, but we're not really going to get into anything happening yet.
You know what? So, this is the point in the series where if suddenly all of the chalkboards were moving in the background, you wouldn't blink about it.
Yeah.
Like, the first 2 episodes had to establish kind of the weirdness of the world, like all of the windows being everywhere and the classrooms looking like cages and all that. And at this point, I feel like it's going to get harder to notice that stuff because you've started to accept the conditions, the strange conditions of the ambient, which is cool.
Yeah.
So that's fun. I like that.
That is fun.
I don't know. Just here. Anyway.
Have we heard Sam yet? I feel like he was meowing earlier.
He was. Handsome.
Okay.
Hey, come here.
When I make videos, I like having Sam pop up every time he meows.
I'll send you some pictures. Sam?
Oh, yeah, that'd be great.
Hey, Ketchup.
Ah, hey, Sam.
Sam,
what did you think about this episode? Oh, very interesting.
Yeah. He's got some really good feedback.
He also likes to
All right.
chew on the headphone wires, so.
Oh, no, don't do that, Sam.
I'd have to try really hard.
All right, let's get started here.
Yeah.
Right.
So we have another cold open, if I remember
Mhm.
correctly. Yeah, and
Yep.
so we're opening into the most roomy and comfortable looking
Yeah.
hospital room I've ever seen.
Yeah,
Yes.
so have I,
No,
and
no.
I work in a hospital,
Yeah.
so...
Why don't
Yeah,
you comment
it's
on
like-
how weird this is?
It's like a carpeted, enormous one person
With
hospital room.
Bookshelves.
with this,
lining
like,
the room.
insane
Yeah.
bookshelf in the background, and you're like, wow, this is, he's got private insurance, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess his family's wealthy, and like a really nice view out of a window, and the window's open. And it turns out Sayaka has brought a rare CD of a solo violinist, to a boy who's in this hospital room. And he says, "Oh, thank you so much," and she accepts the other earbud from him. And this is like a cliche in anime. Like, this is supposed to be like, "Wow, we're so close to each other. It's so
It's
romantic."
like an indirect kiss, but with
Yeah,
earphones.
yeah.
Here,
So-
please share my earwax. That will bring
Yeah.
us closer.
I can't think of anything more romantic than that.
Really, either.
So as they're listening to the violin music, Sayaka has like a little flashback to, I guess, when she was younger and she was at one of his violin recitals. So this kid it's basically, the show is telling us that this kid is like a violinist, like a good one, because he was doing recitals with a huge crowd when he was a little baby.
Mm-hmm. But
And
now he can't.
now he can't, because the camera pans over to his arm, and his arm is all wrapped up in bandages. So the implication here is that he's injured, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And sure enough, he starts crying, like, quietly to himself while they're
Yeah.
listening to the violin music. So that's sad.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, this is, to me, when I saw this, I was like, yep, there's the lever.
Well,
There's
this is
the lever.
this is like
Yeah.
watching the Olympics with a new quadriplegic. You don't. Like,
Yeah.
like, seriously.
Yeah.
But the dynamic that Kyuubey has going on, and the whole thing that
Like, this is
Sayaka
clearly
has
your
going on with
setup
that
for why
character.
she's going to.
Yeah,
Like,
Yeah.
you know
Yeah,
it.
it's-
You know it.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
definitely there. And
Yeah. And we know that Sayaka already has shown us that she's the kind of person who, like, is into the idea of heroism
Yeah.
and fighting bad guys. Yeah.
And she doesn't feel like she's really got anything she needs for herself.
Right.
But we're going to get to that later.
Yeah, we will get to
With-
that
with
later.
Kyuubey and his
Yeah.
bullshit being on his shit.
Madoka.
What did your friend think about the stuff we were talking about in the last couple episodes with the opening, and whether it was
Sexy.
weird or not? Yeah.
She noticed it too, that there's this weird pattern, and I want to say, like, I expect this to die down, but there's like a weird pattern of stuff going on in the opening, and things that are like fetish adjacent without actually being them.
There's a golden
And-
shower.
Yeah, I noticed that. You keep pointing that out
I-
every
I
time
just
in the
feel like
intro.
that's-
Wait, what? Hold on.
Go back!
Take
When
a
it's
step back.
raining, when it's
What
raining,
are you-
it's raining gold. Look at that. That's a golden shower.
I'm waiting for...
Yeah.
No, you guys!
Wow.
I mean, this is
Look,
not stuff
Greek
we're imagining.
mythology
okay?
references are totally legit in an anime.
Okay, so we're talking about, there's like a shot in the opening where Madoka is like running in her magical girl outfit, and there's like these diagonal lines
It's rain.
happening.
But
Is
they're
it
all
rain?
gold.
Are you sure it's rain?
I think it's
You-
supposed to
go
be rain.
back.
That's
She's
Go
like,
back
this is bothering you. I'm sincerely angry at this. All right, we're gonna see this again, but it's totally fucking rain, and it's.
I mean, as I said in the last couple episodes, I agree that this has some creepy undertones and is probably the most fan service stuff in the show. But
I'm not seriously asserting that that's the thought,
okay,
but it is rain
Basically-
because you see her step in puddle.
Yeah.
Right before, and the light.
oh my god,
Yeah.
are they Oh, no, they are.
Yeah, and she steps in a puddle right before that shot, so...
But she's not wet. She's not getting wet.
She's not, but
do you really want her getting wet with golden shower?
Look, see, there's rain,
no,
there's
but I also don't want to. I also don't want to say that that's what's happening.
You're in denial, but that is totally what's happening.
Let me explain. This is why I'm calling this fetish adjacent, because it's something that where when a normal person who isn't garbage looks at this, they're like, "Oh, the rain's gold. Oh, that's cool." But when there is somebody who's garbage, they're going to look at that and be, oh yeah, I saw that. And I think this is part of a strategy on
maybe the bondage outfits
part.
and stuff. Truly, I don't think that they were, like, rubbing their hands together and going, let's do, like, an allusion to urine play.
Not
but
exactly.
It is totally, like...
Not exactly,
shower,
but I do feel that this is the kind of thing that where by hook or by crook, they want to get their audience invested. And if that takes jamming their hook into someone's dick and bringing them along,
I will drag you into this story whether you like it or not.
I really don't put it past them.
Okay, I agree that that's definitely what they do in the opening here, but I just think that they chose a very bad color to make this rain.
They did.
For some reason, the rain is yellow instead of being blue or black or some other color.
To play devil's advocate, it's a daytime shower. Like, the lighting is clearly, like, supposed to be daylight. Yeah. So I can see them using the yellow to be, like, they're normally suggesting there's sunlight.
Blue.
Yeah, but I could see why they would be doing that as a decision, because you're trying to depict it as, like, one of those, like, day shower kind of things. However,
that's what I mean by adjacent, though.
However,
while you and I don't want to think of it that way, somebody who does want to think of it that way is going to get a lot out of that sequence.
Anyway.
Oh, so in other words, you guys.
Yes. I deal with alarming
Look, we're used to Utana, okay? We're used to
I get it.
Garbage.
I get it.
Right on the surface.
I totally get it. I'm pulling your leg. I'm totally pulling your leg. I get it. Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Oh, are they going to take Mami out of the opening shot there? I wonder. Now that she's dead.
I don't think so.
Oh, spoilers, guys!
For the we already talked about it.
Oops.
We already talked about it, though.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Anyway, after the opening, we see that Madoka and Sayaka are basically witch hunting with Mami again. So I'm guessing this is like the next night or a couple nights later.
Yep.
And Mami does a Tiro finale at what we find out is a familiar and not a witch. And she tells them that, she tells them that, like, that wasn't actually a witch, that was a familiar. That's why we didn't get a grief seed. And Sayaka says, that seems like a shame to fight and not get a grief seed out of it. And Mami says, well, sure, but if we don't fight them, they eventually turn into witches. So if you want to be proactive, you have to get rid of them anyway.
That seems like shooting yourself in the foot, because then you get fewer grief seeds. If I were a magical girl, I'd be like keeping track of all the familiars around this.
Yeah, this topic comes up later.
Okay.
So, yeah.
I'd be like growing them like it's Farmville or something.
Gotta go around and water the grief seeds.
Yeah. So I guess they're like walking home, and Mami asks them whether they know what they're going to wish for yet or not. And this is where we find out that what Mami's wish was. And she doesn't come out and say it, but basically we get a little flashback to a car crash where she's like in a flipped over crushed vehicle or something. Mm. And we see the silhouette of Kyuubey in the car window over her face.
If that is what I see when I die.
The implication here is that she wished to not die in a car crash.
Yeah.
So she had to wish for her own life. And that's basically what happened to her parents, too. Like, her parents died in that car crash, so she is a sad orphan.
Why all of the pictures in her apartment are just abstract designs instead of her parents and all that. Which reminds me, by the way, the car crash thing.
Didn't think to wish for her parents to survive at the time.
Maybe there's some regret.
Well, yeah, she made a split second.
Yeah.
Like, that. Like, a lot of these wishes are, like, split second decisions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, I mean, she does, that might be why she keeps telling them, like, listen, you need to think about your wish before you make it.
Yeah.
Like, don't just wish for whatever. You need to think about it before you do it.
She wants them to have the choice she never had.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I did
So-
that.
You did, and it's awful.
Yeah.
Enjoy
She
that.
says she does not regret it because she prefers the life that she has now fighting witches to just being dead.
Dead. Well,
Yeah.
Just one thing, the car crash thing reminded me of, you remember when I was talking about the van earlier, and then in chat I was like, oh, well, the reason that I fixated on the van is because attention to detail. The van's windshield is all smashed in. That's
oh yeah, that's true.
So
Interesting.
So back in
Yeah.
episode 2 and all that, the van's windshield, the van that
What's in
carries
the
the woman
foreground
to
here?
that building is all crushed up
Smashed.
outside the building.
Yeah.
Anyway, like I
Interesting.
said, it's attention to detail. It's the kind of thing I expect from a show where the animators are paying very, very close attention to the reasons everything is happening on the screen.
This show is like full of bridges. This
Yeah.
must be like in Venice or something because there's a bridge
Yeah,
every 3 seconds.
I wonder if that's a thing.
Of course
because-
it is. Like it's totally
I wonder if that, because repeated visual symbols that's the essence of symbology and like symbolism
And,
right there.
well, I can tell you right now that bridges keep coming back. I can think of at
Mhm.
least one other huge scene later that happens on a bridge.
yeah. Does not
Yeah.
surprise me. I like how Mami's like
Huh.
not how Miki's got to like cover up her bat with like a cloth in case anyone
Oh.
thinks she's carrying a weapon. That's cute.
It is
Like
cute.
it's totally like she's keeping her gun in
Yeah.
a violin case kind of.
I wonder if that's a thing in Japan, that you can't just walk around with a baseball bat.
Probably
Well,
not. Like
it's
it sounds
possible.
Like, yeah.
That would probably
Yeah.
send a message.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So, anyway,
The bridge thing,
Sayaka...
though, the
Oh,
bridge
sure,
thing,
go
though,
ahead.
I just think it would be interesting to keep note of like what they're
Bridge
talking
watch.
about when they're on these bridges. Because the first time was Homura and Madoka
Yeah.
talking about
Yes.
Madoka and
Not changing
you know,
herself.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then the
this
second
is
time,
talking about the change that you would undergo becoming
yeah.
a magical girl.
But the second time in between is when they're on their way to the witch labyrinth.
Yeah.
Gertrude's labyrinth redux.
Mhm.
And what are they talking about there again? Because they're talking about how she finds witches. I don't know. I
don't
just think
remember.
it's the kind of thing that I
Um,
want to keep track of because that
Yeah.
kind of tells
We'll
me
keep track of that.
what
Yeah, that was...
symbolism
in that
they're
episode,
using.
she was using her soul gem to track the witch down.
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
And she was
Yeah.
explaining about how they show up in hospitals and they show up in car crashes and they show up at mass suicides and natural
Mhm.
disasters. Like,
Okay, yeah.
that's what she was explaining. So maybe, I don't know, maybe the bridge, so far we seem to have a pattern of the bridge,
being directly attached to moving
Like-
from real life to magical girl life.
yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what it seems like to me, but it's something
Yeah.
Because
that
there's no monotonous, no like typical child
Yeah.
conversation happens on the bridge.
exactly.
They're either
so that's
They haven't
just
been
an
talking about
interesting thing.
school or anything else on these bridge conversations.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's something I'll watch out for
This
in the
can be
future.
the bridge test.
If somebody can disprove that,
We'll
let
keep
us
an
hear
eye
from
on it,
you.
yeah.
Send us a Curiouscat or whatever. Love to hear it.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's just really it's neat the way they work these things into the episodes.
Yeah.
Oh, did he already? Oh no. Okay, so at this point, like Mami does that whole thing where, oh, my idea is a little. What if I wanted to like, my life is fine, but what if I wanted to make life better for somebody
That's Sayaka,
else?
not Mami.
Okay,
Yeah,
sorry,
but
Yeah.
I keep wanting to say Mami because I know that's Miki, and I'm like, don't
yeah.
say Miki.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, so they have that like moment, and then Kyuubey says something like, "Oh no, it's totally fine for the beneficiary of a contract to not be, the contractee." And then he adds, "There's even a precedent for that." And I'm like,
Yeah, we're like,
Uh-huh.
ting, the antennas just go up at that point because
so I'm like,
as far as I know, we haven't heard anything about this precedent so far.
yeah,
So either I missed something real big or something big is going to happen involving that precedent.
yeah, or that
Well-
precedent has been hit already by a different character we have not
Yeah.
heard from
that we
yet.
haven't seen yet. Yeah.
Yeah.
That-
Also, I love this. I paused it on a screen here, and it's got, nobody likes a boy who pressures girls to do things. Which reminds me of the joke that came up during the stream, which is, I tweeted about it, but I'll repeat it here. That basically, Kyuubey is like a thirsty fucking 16-year-old Redditor trying to seduce his girlfriend when he's trying to convince them. Because he's like, okay, are you going to be magical girl now?
How about now?
Okay, I'll wait.
Yeah.
I'll wait. Okay, how about now?
He's not the most subtle. He's not the most subtle manipulator, but I suppose he doesn't need to be when he's a cute, fuzzy.
Yeah,
but
Who
yeah,
knew?
that
Adorable. And he's putting on this. I don't know if I want to call it a facade exactly, but he's being upfront with the fact that he's not forcing them to do anything. Like he legitimately is waiting for them to say, "Okay, now I'm ready."
Yeah. Except that he's following them everywhere, constantly staring at them, and always reminding them of what it is they have to
that
gain.
in itself constitutes
which
pressure.
is exactly the kind of shit you expect from a piece of garbage that knew to say, "I'll wait till you're ready."
Yeah.
But doesn't really want to wait till you're ready.
Actually, that is something that my friend Laura reacted to very, very strongly. Was like, oh my god, he's grooming them. I was like, yeah.
Yeah, he is.
He is.
And I love how often he appears in shadow. That's just so villain.
Yeah. I mean, it's totally intentional. The
totally
light and
is.
dark moments. Yeah. There was something else in that scene that I wanted to point out. Oh, so when Sayaka says, like, can I hypothetically wish for someone else? And Kyuubey says yes. Mami is like, well, hold on. Do you know why you actually want to make a wish for someone else? Like, are you doing it for them, or are you doing it because you have an ulterior motive and you want something else out of it from them? You know?
Yeah, I liked that.
Yeah. And Sayaka actually gets a little offended.
Yeah.
Like she seems like a little upset that Mami could have even called her out on that level yet. But then she kind of admits it and says, you know what, you're right, I hadn't thought of it that way.
Yeah. Well, it's the kind of thing where if you go, no, it just sounds worse.
Yeah.
You just sound, you just really sound bad. But it is totally a point to make. Do you think the boy is going to love you because you fixed his arm or what?
Yeah, exactly.
So.
And then this conversation kind of continues after that scene, because we see we're back in, they head home and we're back in Madoka's house. She's laying in bed and she's working on her magical girl drawings. And she's talking to Kyuubey.
And Kyuubey says she's gonna be powerful.
Yeah.
Which is the kind of thing...
Yeah, he keeps saying this over and over.
I bet you say that to all the girls, hon.
Yeah, exactly. Like, that is the kind of thing that I would expect somebody to say if they're being manipulative, but...
Well, with, like this, full face shot of him where his eyes are, the size of...
fucking saucers.
Yeah.
Yeah. You'd be so powerful. I've never met anybody with the potential you have.
Actually,
and
that's another
fedora,
thing
Madoka.
about Kyuubey's design that I find very, interesting. On top of everything else, even when you have your little anime mascot, they're emotive. That's usually built into their design. But he's explicitly drawn in a way that makes his face not emotive. They never
He is permanently the blank cute face, like a blank mascot cute face.
They don't change his little mouth thing around or at all. They don't change the size or the shape of his eyes at all. So he's got this dead cute face all the time, and it totally throws you off the scent of whatever he's saying. And he speaks in this, he speaks in this very, cutesy kind of tone of voice a lot of the time, even when he's saying fucking terrible things. And it's just very, it's the kind of thing where if I weren't reading the words on the screen and you were just listening to it, you could probably go a good 3 or 4 seconds after something he says before you go, wait.
Or not notice it at all. Because a lot of the time, tone of voice and visual signaling mean more than the actual verbiage.
It's very strategic.
Yeah, so I also feel like that's part of the bait and switch with Kyuubey too, because he is cast in shadow a lot of times, and he does say some suspicious things, but usually in those moments, he's putting on the cute mascot face, he's got that adorable voice, and there's usually peppy music in the background. It's not always framed as being sinister.
Yeah, exactly.
So it kind of goes both ways. It's going in one way where it kind of misleads you, but later on when you look back, you can kind of see how you
It's
can
really
see in
well
hindsight
done.
some of what else is going on there.
It is super well done.
And so
as
far,
a
I've
misdirection tactic.
I've found that when the staging is more suspicious is usually when he's not speaking.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, there'll be shots where you just see his shadow cast across a room, but he's not talking yet. Or, like, the scenes where he's actually doing and communicating things tend to be the ones that are framed less sinister.
Yeah.
And then other, like, totally innocuous shots otherwise will have this sinister shadow cast across them. So it's very, like, I like how they did it. It's constantly kind of playing with what you're expecting based on what he looks like.
I just want to mention here, since we're talking about it, I know I mentioned this to you in chat, Amanda, but I honestly did not expect my friend Laura to pick up on how weird Kyuubey was as soon as she did, because it was literally the very beginning of the first episode, and she's like, no, don't do it, oh my god, get away from that thing.
Hold on, is this your Catholic friend?
Yes,
that you
yes,
mentioned?
this is my Colombian Catholic friend who was taught how to not accept bargains with demons in her dreams. In school, she was taught this.
So to her, like, the moment that was even like, oh, a bargain, wait.
Yeah, she saw
she
the
called
word
it a Faustian
contract.
bargain right away, didn't she?
Oh yeah, she did. She saw the word contract and she just hit the brakes immediately and was like, no, get away. I'm like, whoa.
Well, it's kind of
really
interesting
surprising.
because I wonder if in Japan you have that same cultural context.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, like, trickster devils and, like, making a deal with the devil, like, that's a trope that exists everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
But there are degrees of how culturally penetrative that is.
Yeah, like, to be honest,
if you go to Catholic school, I'm gonna guess that you are much more sensitive to that kind of thing in media than if you are from a culture where that's less of a thing that's pounded into your head.
It was really hilarious, though.
Yeah.
Love it.
It helped that we were both a little bit drunk.
I think that probably helps watching Madoka a lot.
One more interesting thing before we move on to this next scene with Madoka's mom. Madoka was talking about how she still doesn't know. So this scene was interesting for Madoka because she was talking about how she admires Mami so much that she kind of just likes the idea of being a magical girl herself. Like, she seems to not really want anything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she just wants to be somebody who can help people. Which brings my friend up again, actually, because she was like, oh, Madoka's the heart character. And I don't really know too much about that. So can you expand on that, Amanda?
Yeah, so that is very much a magical girl thing. Like the Christ allegory, if we want to go deep symbolism takes on this kind of stuff.
Of course.
We do.
That's where we live.
That is, like, Sailor Moon herself, and Sailor Moon is very much a savior type figure. I mean, I'm sure there's kind of a subversion of that in Utena itself with Anthe and the prince stuff. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's lots of, like, oh, this person... Magical girls are basically, they defeat bad guys by being kind and using softer tactics and spreading love and hope around instead of the shonen violence stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Defeat it with the power of love.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so far, Madoka is really being set up as the true, like, magical girl trope so far.
Yeah.
Kyuubey asks her, like, do you just want power for power's sake? And she's like, not really. And then she takes a step back and she's like, well, maybe, because I'm not really good at anything and I don't have any talents and my grades are just kind of okay and my life is pretty plain. So I think I just like the idea of being able to help people. Like just having being the kind of person who can help people. Because basically Madoka is being set up as the more genre typical magical girl character.
Mm-hmm.
Who is more selfless and more willing to help people for helping people's sake because she gets satisfaction out of just doing that. And that's its own reward.
Is that why Kyuubey says that she has the most potential, I wonder? Like, because that would follow in the logic of the world, wouldn't it?
It could. I mean, I'm not going to tell you one way or the other.
I'm going to present as a theory that doing the whole, the power of love relies on that is greatly enriched by a certain degree of innocence that she already has. Like, that's like, she's drawn more juvenile, she seems sweeter, she's less strategic about the decisions she makes. Mm-hmm. And I feel like that all kind of, like, wraps up into the same, ooh, the power of love. Because like, what I do know about Sailor Moon is that Usagi's like a bag of rocks as far as how smart she is.
Yes.
Yeah, like, I do know that.
Yeah.
But she always means well, and she has a certain naivete. And, like, even Utena, who's a totally different set of tropes otherwise, has that same innocence and well-meaning about her.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, Madoka just radiates all that. Like, they keep saying, take time and really think about this decision, but she clearly isn't really thinking about it that hard in that way. Whereas, like, Miki's, like, seriously, like, parsing this out and considering odds and stuff.
Yeah, like Sayaka seems to be interested in getting something out of it. She wants the reward. Whereas, she's into the heroism, but she also wants the reward. Whereas Madoka seems to be interested in the heroism, but really doesn't care about the wish itself.
Yeah.
Like, that doesn't interest her at all. You know? And she doesn't seem to be all that bothered about... She doesn't really seem that worried about the whole risking your life thing, either.
No.
Like, she's not taking that seriously.
That's not a big roadblock for her. Somehow. Yeah. But yeah, so now that I did want to talk about that. So now we can move on to this interesting scene.
We saw a thing.
This next scene starts with them. Well, there's a shot of them on the outside, from the outside of the house, with all of these glass panels that show in.
Yeah,
and they're totally giving me a Mondrian vibe. Like this guy that I just
saw. So that famous painting. So there's is that the name of it? What is the name of the painting itself?
Mondrian is the name of the artist. I couldn't narrow it down to like a painting in particular.
Yeah.
But just the way that the boxes are cut up in that like kind of chaotic way made me think very much of that artist. So
yeah,
you
so
remember when we saw that?
Yeah.
We saw one of these when we went to
Oh really?
Wasn't the Met, it was the MoMA. We went to MoMA in New York, and I saw one of these, and I just like looked at it, and I was like, "Here, there be dragons." Okay, and then we left.
But yeah, like I'm totally getting like a Mondrian vibe, and just because I've seen other things that are referential already in the show, I feel like every time I see something like that, I'm like.
Yeah, I smell art.
I smell things. So.
I mean, that could definitely be a reference, because these are some very strangely set up windows.
Yeah, like they're just...
Is this another voyeurism symbolism?
Honestly, I think so. Time for the jingle. Yep. Or whatever sound effect we're going to use for that.
So. Did we have any earlier?
We have not mentioned voyeurism thus far in this episode.
It. I'm actually kind of glossing over some of it. I'm going to focus on eyes probably because the windows are fucking omnipresent.
Yeah, like these are just bizarre windows to have. There's two of them that remotely make sense as sliding doors, and the rest of it's like, nope, fuck you.
Yeah,
exactly. These windows are very strange. This appears to be from out in the yard. Like, I think from where the camera is standing, like right behind them would be the tomato garden. Yeah. And that looks like it might be the kitchen in there, maybe?
Yeah, I think
I don't know.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it is.
But basically what happened was Madoka's dad asked if she was still awake in order for her to come out and help him with their drunk-ass mother who came home from like a work party or something. Like, fucking, like, not able to stand.
That's
well, I mean, then that's what you do, is you drink with your
boss, and you're sort of required to, chair watch. She's like, no time to talk about
This is another voyeurism
chair watch!
Chair watch.
Yeah, another
this
voyeurism
is another
thing.
voyeurism thing, and you know how I know it's important? Is because the chairs are actually, I went back and checked.
Yeah, we went and pulled back the other
positions. Shot. Some of them are in the same positions, but a lot of them are missing.
The chairs that are there, the chairs that are there are in the same positions.
Yes.
However, there are chairs missing, and then there's that new chair that's with that tall chair on the left with the blanket on it is new. So we're keeping track of these chairs. We're watching.
You know what?
Fuckers. This is really weird, though.
Wait, I gotta make one more note of a chair situation. Was back. I took a note of this when I was making my notes, and I forgot to bring it up. In the opening scene in the hospital, there is a single chair pointed in the direction of the bed in that enormous empty
what is
room.
That?
Yeah. I don't know. So maybe that's another voyeurism ding.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, chairs do imply people seated in, and the thing that I find creepier about this is that these chairs, while they're in the same position, some of them are missing and one has been added. Why would that happen unless people have been using them?
Yeah, like it's like...
Which is creepy.
Yeah, I don't know what they're trying to mess with this chair stuff. And they could have used probably the same background that they had made for that one episode in this.
They could have.
But they didn't.
You know what? I'm 100% gonna predict, because I actually haven't been paying attention to the stuff in Madoka's room as much, but I bet like the teddy bears and stuff like that also have a similar pattern of changing or...
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised.
I would not be surprised, yeah.
Although that makes more sense, because your toys would move around, and chairs are like, why are there 10 chairs in your bedroom?
Well,
Mom?
Exactly. That's
what
the
is
chairs thing sticks out because it's so surreal. It's the kind of thing that if you're not looking for it, you look at it and you go, "Oh, that's weird," but you don't really. It doesn't pass. It just passes by.
If you put a camera on a tripod but facing the bed, it would have the same energy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
I feel like that would be like...
Really
and you know what that says to me, though? Is
that's
audience.
the internet version of that shot. I swear.
Yeah.
It would be a camera facing the bed.
But like, if there are chairs, and if these chairs have moved, that means there will have been people using them.
Yeah, it implies spectators.
Yeah.
It implies people watching, which is us.
Well, maybe that's what they're into, okay? Don't
maybe,
touch.
yeah, I mean...
Daddy might have some stuff going on.
I guess, but I think that's like, hey, you guys that are watching, hi, we see you.
Hi, we know you're there. This is for you.
Yeah. That's honestly how I feel about it.
So the context of the scene is that Madoka's mom is like drunk as fuck and gets dragged into bed by dad, and she seems like, well, why? And Madoka starts asking why would she be so down to get drunk? Like, does she actually love this job, or like there's like kind of like questioning why do you do this if it seems so difficult? And it's like clearly mirroring her conversation earlier, where it's like. Is what you
thematic
do
follow up?
Yeah.
Is
doing what you love to do, even if it's not necessarily easy or good for you all the time, is sufficient to be fulfilling. And she's kind of like, Madoka's like clearly thinking of herself in terms of what she just heard from her mom and her dad, as far as being like, I admire that she likes to work hard and be determined, even if it, gets her crunked sometimes.
And her dad says, like, listen, obviously your mom it wasn't her dream to go work for, and I have no idea what kind of company she makes, so I'm just pulling out of my butt here. It wasn't her dream to go work for, like, a paper products, like, in the office company.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where they sell paper to offices, like, assuming it's, like, some kind of weird corporate thing that she does. That wasn't her dream to go work for an applesauce company.
Yeah.
Or whatever, or, whatever it is that they do. But it was her dream to live her life in a way that she would feel proud of. So, so that the message there is that it's not necessarily, it's more about the lifestyle that you build for yourself instead of tying your identity to it, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
it's
and
not about
that
what
seems
you do, but how you do it.
Yeah. And Madoka's mom sees it as self-improvement too, if you watch her dialogue really closely. Like, she sees it as a personal challenge to do that kind of work.
Yeah.
So, So that's interesting because it kind of informs... Madoka seems to take that very well. Like, she seems to find that interesting and illuminating. Because it's kind of what she was talking about with Kyuubey. Like... Like, does the reward that I'm getting for this even really matter? Or is it more about me building the kind of lifestyle and role that I want to have?
Or is it about the friends she makes along the way?
Yeah. And other magical girl things.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that is basically like a magical girl trope, isn't it?
Yes. That's an everything trope
you made
by now.
The way
That's a fucking Lord of the Rings trope.
Look.
Trash.
Lord of the Rings is the original magical girl.
Wait, what?
I stand magical boy Samwise Gamgee.
But
I'm not
anyway.
I'm not a big Lord of the Rings fan, so I can't enjoy that deep reference.
Oh,
That's
oh no!
actually
there's
the
a
second
fountain
part of
and
how
no
we met.
car in it. I'm confused.
Oh, shut up. There's
There's
no car.
Someone park a
fountain.
car.
Okay, so yeah, so
Whoa,
we've
whoa,
moved on to the next scene, and Mami is out with her soul gem, maybe looking for witches, and she's out in what looks like a park or with a huge fountain in the middle, and just surrounded by streetlights, and she comes across Homura. Homura does her weird Batman thing where she just kind of appears behind somebody, and this is an interesting conversation because it seems that Homura is there to start shit again, and Mami kind of drops her sweet and innocent act, and she's being very look bitch like she was in the first episode. Yeah, she's got that passive aggressive smile on her face. She's very confident, like she knows she doesn't really seem very intimidated by the idea of starting shit with Homura.
Yeah, no.
And Homura says, "Listen, I'm not trying to fight with you. I'm trying to prevent Madoka from making a contract with Kyuubey." That's basically what she says.
Right.
And
Mami seems to feel like that's a foregone conclusion at this point.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah, Mami obviously doesn't trust her still, and assumes she's got some kind of ulterior motive here.
Is that
so? They're talking about how powerful Madoka would be, and I think it's like it's. Like, that's another thing I'm wondering about is Mami's got this, like, obviously she's the weakest because she dies quickly.
Wow, the resentment in your voice.
Well, no, but there's, like, she acts with Homura like she's got nothing to lose. She's like, you want to start some shit? You want to fight? You want to fight? I don't give a shit.
That implies to me that she considers herself to be on somewhat of the same scale of power as Homura.
But by
whether
the
that's
same token,
true,
there still takes, like, a bit of a sense of being... Like, I get, like, the sense she feels she's expendable, not that she's sitting there thinking, like, I have a death wish, but she's willing to start shit instead of just totally avoiding a fight. And I don't know, like, I've just gotten that impression from how she interacts with Homura and just kind of in general, that she's not...
Yeah.
She's not very risk-averse, let's put it that way.
Yeah, she is a seasoned magical girl, right? So she's been doing this for... The series implies at least a year, but she looks... Because she's... I say that because she is in the grade above them.
Yeah.
But she also looks slightly younger than she is now in the flashback with the car crash. So I'd say maybe 2 years.
Yeah.
So she's been doing this for a couple of years by herself. And completely relying on herself with no parents. So I think she is a very confident. She's very confident. She's world weary. She's been fighting witches for a long time,
which makes me think she's not the best magical girl in the sense of power because.
Yeah, well, earlier there was that conversation about how magical girls don't always get along because they have to compete for grief seats. And I think Mami might have been the one who explained that. So I feel like Mami has just kind of seen it all before when it comes to magical girls. So she's really not intimidated by Homura trying to throw her weight around. Like, she's dealt with that shit before kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I just want to insert here the other thing that the stream said that stuck with me really hard, which was that these two have really, really big ex-girlfriend energy. You know what? Okay.
You know,
I'm okay with that. Like, to be honest, I see it. I do see it. There's bitter ex-girlfriend energy going on here.
I mean, it's that magical girl thing where they kind of partially already know each other because they're doing the same shit and they're competing for the same stuff. So they don't, she doesn't have to have a conversation with Homura about how the witches and the grief seeds work because they both already know that,
They can jump to the next topic at hand, which is...
Yeah.
That familiarity that causes, I think, is the reason for that. I don't genuinely think that they had any kind of romantic attachment, but it's definitely shipper food.
The question that I feel like is going to progress and be relevant here is, like, in this scene, Mami does seem to be aware that there might not be something great about grooming these girls to side with Kyuubey. Like, and she's said repeatedly, you really need to think about this. It's not easy to be a magical girl.
You know,
like,
to
on
me
one
that
hand,
stinks of I'm clearing my own conscience.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I feel like at some point we're gonna find out that Mami does know it, at least to some extent, why Homura is so like nope. But for whatever reasons, she's more willing to roll with Kyuubey. She's being the first lieutenant there, because that's kind of how she's functioning. She's the bait. Like, she's
kind of I want to get into that a little bit. Now.
Yeah, let's get into that later, because she does die. So as we mentioned,
there is some more kind of weird, creepy, not as nice as it seems stuff that goes on with Mami.
These two have their like little like moment in the wind, in the dark, you know, where one is standing above the other, and it's that whole trope of like, we're gonna fight next time we meet.
Mami straight up says like, I don't want to see you again, and if I do, we're going to fight, and there's going to be problems. And Homura does not seem to. There's like one shot where she kind of grimaces, like that didn't go well, kind of thing. Yeah,
like that could have gone better.
Yeah. Also, ding, Windows.
Windows
yeah,
again.
But this isn't Windows. This is looking at two girls from underneath a seat in front of them.
No, the two shots before that. Where we saw the facade of the hospital, and then we saw the windows behind Sayaka as she was getting off the elevator.
Okay.
So that's what I was talking about.
But now we're hiding under a chair.
Yeah, now we're hiding under a chair watching them.
Which is voyeuristic. That's voyeuristic shot.
That's another voyeurism ding.
Ding,
absolutely. Seriously, like it's just larded with voyeurism.
Who the hell who put the camera under this thing?
Yeah. Why would you frame it that way? It's so strange. So basically, Sayaka says, Madoka and Sayaka are at the hospital, and Madoka's like, oh, well, why, I thought you were up there seeing. She calls him Kamijo, which I think is his last name. So Kamijo-kun, like, I thought you were going to go see him. And she said, what did she say? Like, he's still in therapy or he's busy or something? Yeah. So we're at the hospital, basically. That's establishing that we were at the hospital. And we're then establishing that we are being voyeurs because we're looking at that conversation from under a chair.
Yeah.
Chairs and windows. I swear to God.
Chairs and windows. Strange compositional choice.
Yeah.
However, we then transition to them walking, outside in front of all these bicycles, and then they stop suddenly, and there's this extremely close-up shot of Kyuubey that just screamed, "Oh, so something's gonna happen now."
Yeah,
because it's suspicious.
And then immediately something does,
and then we find a grief seed.
Yeah. All of a sudden, there's just a random grief seed stuck in the wall as they're leaving the hospital.
Gee, what a surprise.
This just radiates not planned at all.
Yeah. What did I say? This had the same energy as... What did I say? I can't remember now.
It was a Toga reference.
Yeah, no, it has the same energy as Toga stepping in to catch Sanji's arm in episode 1 before he
look
hits
how
Empty.
conveniently here I was to do this heroic thing.
Yeah, that's like big same energy there.
Yeah, it's true.
I'm very, very split on whether this was arranged for this specifically.
Kyuubey's got very big, oh, how convenient that we were here to save the day.
Yep.
Yeah. Us specifically. The two specific girls that I'm trying to get to make contracts with me.
Of course.
Yeah, not Mami.
Just the two I'm trying to seduce into this.
And it just happens to be at the hospital where the one, again,
has
where
an
the
emotional
leverage
attachment
lives.
To someone within.
Yep, like I said, where the leverage is.
Yeah. So basically, Kyuubey says, oh no, it's about to hatch into a labyrinth. We need Mami right now. And they don't have Mami's phone number. So basically, Sayaka tells Madoka to go get Mami, and she's going to stay back with Kyuubey and keep an eye on the grief seed. Like, this part's a little weird to me, because, like, what do you think you're going to do?
What are you going to do?
Yeah.
You're going to bark at it? What?
I mean, I would.
So, this is Sayaka's fearlessness here, because she's basically willing, even though she's not a magical girl,
to run into the labyrinth.
Go in there. Yeah.
Okay, you know what though? this is exactly what Kyuubey wants, because he wins either way. Either Mami gets there and saves them, or he knows Sayaka is going to become a magical girl and fight the thing
and do it
Mami
anyway.
doesn't get there in time. That is straight up his purpose here. That's why he makes sure it's her that
That's
stays.
also why he's conveniently, separating them.
Yeah.
He's fine with them parting ways because they're less likely to make that decision when they're both together.
Yeah.
Creepy grooming tactics, and Sam agrees with me.
Yes,
he does.
Separating young girls, definitely.
Yes.
Yeah. That's like police tactics. Like when you, because I'm an attorney, so that like when you arrest two guys at the same time, like you split them apart and get their statements separately, so you can see where they're lying and where their stories are consistent.
And they can't rely on each other to
exactly.
I mean, divide and conquer, right?
Yep,
exactly.
He's dividing and conquering. Ugh, I hate it. I love it, but
Yeah.
And then you can see like the grief seed thing growing in the background, and you're like, and once she's here, she'll be able to telepathy with me, and I'm like, that telepathy is sure convenient in its range and function and use. Kyuubey,
you kind of feel like that is kind of how the telepathy works, is however Kyuubey wants it to work at the moment.
However he wants it to work,
very nice. I like how she leaves her bag too. She's like, no, I'll run faster.
Well, I mean, she will.
And of course, the moment she's gone, is
when it opens.
Off. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yay, and you're a nurse. Now you're in my wheelhouse, guys. I like this.
So I love this witch. This witch is
I'm looking forward to hearing about this witch. I've been waiting.
Yeah, well, let's wait until we actually see the witch, because so far we're just in the labyrinth, and it is basically hospital themed.
Yeah,
it's hospital themed, but it changes as you go further into the
scalpels,
labyrinth. And we're kind of sitting here going, okay, so the outer parts of the labyrinth reflect the real world, and then the inner parts reflect the
witch's world. Yeah.
Yeah.
So like you start out with this really heavily medical thing.
I didn't want to make assumptions about that first grief seed, but those grief seeds and those soul gems are really, really similar, guys.
In how they look?
Yeah.
How so?
They have the same general shape from the examples that we've seen. They
look like they're from the same production house, we'll say.
Yeah. You've got the kind of oval shaped little thing with the thing on top, and then the stone in the middle, and then yeah.
Well, so, Kyuubey already said that they're kind of related, because magical girls are made from wishes, whereas witches are made from curses.
Yeah. It's just making me. It's just, I don't know. I'm got my antenna.
What if it's like a magical girl? Becomes, isn't that a curse in the long run? Because it's not very good to be a magical girl after all.
I mean,
but then couldn't it also be the opposite with the witches? Like, if you curse somebody, then you kind of get what you want at the end?
Interesting. I would be interested to see how this pans out.
If you have a theory that comes up, keep giving it to me, but obviously I'm not going to confirm it.
Of course. Yeah. But I want to wait still further along in this episode before I get further into that specific thing. But it does strike me as extremely suspicious how similar the grief seeds and
like
soul
clearly
gems
there's
are.
a connection between the witches and the magical girls and all of this
stuff.
Yeah, for sure. There's an existence of some kind that exists around this that we don't know about. Mm-hmm. But that makes me feel like the connection is closer than you're a good guy, I bad guy.
Yeah.
We go pew-pew until one is dead.
Yeah, the grief seeds have to be coming from somewhere. Because Kyuubey makes the soul gems. So if Kyuubey makes the soul gems for the girls, then
where do the
grief seeds are being made from something or someone also,
Well, I'm waiting. What I'm really waiting for is to see what another girl's soul gem looks like. Because we've only seen Mami's.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah.
So I'm interested to see how that pans out, and that's going to either support or detract support from my theories.
Also, like, Sayaka's a total badass. She's like, man, I'm just sleeping in here.
In the witch labyrinth. Yeah.
So eventually Madoka brings Mami to the opening, and they agree to just kind of go in together. I don't know. Did they have any kind of really super important details in that conversation before?
Not really. They're just like, we need to hurry up and get in here.
Are you still here? Yeah, we're fine.
But this drug bottle says Madoka Magic on it.
It does. And also it says
Madoka. Yeah, caution, cookie, and then the weird language, and then Madoka, there's an A missing.
Yeah. And then there's a little drawing, like a little drawing on the side, and we see later that the witch later in the episode looks like this little drawing here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which strangely Kyuubey-like.
I just want to point out that all of these little things have bullseye eyes on them.
Yes.
They do.
They do.
All these bullseyes.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
That's like all of the little minion things have
and there's like veins
eye.
And arteries and
veins, arteries, cookies,
and scalpels
icy,
and needles.
Yeah,
crackers,
so as
bagels,
we get deeper into this labyrinth, it starts to go from hospital stuff to like sweets and pastries.
Mm-hmm. And you see some scissors there. At first, when I first saw this episode, I thought the connection was like kind of, I kept thinking of like candy stripers and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And how there's that association like in hospitals, especially like pediatric wards, you see like candy stripers and stuff still. But
yeah,
now that
that's actually something I would expect from this witch is a witch that was hospitalized or something.
Yeah. But I don't know about the witch yet, but we'll see.
Yeah,
and
no,
then,
I don't know anything about the witch.
This just straight baller here just ties up.
Well, hold on. Let's take a step back.
Yeah, let's describe things so that people know what we're looking at.
Yeah. So Madoka and Mami are walking deeper and deeper into the labyrinth looking for Sayaka. They're passing by all these sweets and these symbols that have the witch on it that we'll see is the witch later.
Mm-hmm.
And suddenly behind them is Homura, who has come into the labyrinth with them. And, we had that scene earlier where it's like, if I see your ass again, it's grass.
I'll kill ya.
Yeah. So Homura comes up and says, don't fight them. This is my prey. I'm going to handle this one this time. And Mami's like, no. And she, all these ribbons come out. Like she has ribbon powers. So her ribbon powers come out and basically tie up Homura so that she's like restrained.
In a little bow, literally.
In a cute little bow. Yeah.
With a lock on it.
With a lock on it.
Yeah.
With a lock on it, yeah.
Usually have to pay extra for them to tie you up like that.
So Mami's like, yeah, I don't trust you, so fucking stay back here. And
which is
mind your own business.
Yep.
And Homura she tries to object, like, this witch is going to be different. You need to not fight it. I'm going to take care of it. Let me go. And she basically says, no, I don't trust you. So just stay here and wait.
Mm-hmm.
And they leave her there. Those little guys are
These little guys
creepy.
are fucking weird.
They have little rat tail legs and arms.
Yeah.
Oh, now we're getting into the labyrinth, and
now it's all pill bottles with sweets
everywhere.
Because nothing says sweets like fucking pill bottles.
So here is a conversation that I was kind of waiting for. Homura and Mami are talking about...
or Madoka and Mami.
Yeah. Sorry. Madoka and Mami are talking about how different wishes work and, like, what Madoka should wish for and what she wants to wish for and all of that. And I just get some really, really big... Hi, Oscar. I'm making an Utena reference again. Really big movie anthe energy from Mami in this scene because...
Oh, I can see that.
Because no, let it go. They end up talking and like, holy fuck, would you stop?
I'm looking in the bottles.
Okay. I'm trying to let the scene run so I can play off of it.
There's a waffle in one of the bottles. There's candies.
There's animals.
Yeah.
One had a fish, one had a monkey. This looks like a heart.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. But like they're talking about whether Mami is like, oh my god, now I lost it. Give me a second. I gotta recollect.
It was big movie anthe energy because she's using her emotional state.
Yeah, because they're talking about what Madoka's going to wish for, and Madoka ends up coming out and saying the heart line again. I don't have any talents. I'm not a great person. I'm just going to be like this forever, being no use to anybody and having to bother everybody when I need help. And I don't want to be that way. So I want to be like you, Mami. I want to be like, you showed me what it's like to fight to save people and help people. And when I heard that I might do the same thing... What are you doing?
I decided it would sound really cool, like I'm really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. But...
Is Sam
What are you
bad?
looking at on the screen there?
Oh.
These suspended figures.
You suck.
No.
You're making this super disjointed.
Sorry.
It's okay.
we want to have some time to chew on the scenery, right?
Yeah, we do
No,
want to
no,
have
no.
some time to
Yep.
chew on the scenery, but at any rate, so they get through this conversation, and as I recall, the conclusion that it comes to is that Madoka is going to be a magical girl, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
She all but says so. And Mami turns around to her with tears in her eyes, talking about how she's not going to be alone anymore.
Yeah.
And that's the part where I get some big movie anthe energy from this, because movie anthe clearly does a lot of manipulating with her true emotions, and I feel like this is the same kind of thing. That's
okay.
That's a thing that okay.
I genuinely feel this way, but boy, is this also useful too.
Yeah. Being a Toga fan, I am intimately familiar with this.
Yes, because that is a whole range of emotions that he uses.
Yeah.
All
But
6 of
it's
them.
just really, like, that's how it... I don't know whether that's just because of my familiarity with the movie or not.
But you know what, like, that tracks, like, what we've been saying with Mami, like, all, like, thus far, where she's, like, she's clearly not new at this, she's clearly been down this road before, and she's kind of seasoned, and, like, that kind of manipulation would imply some history with that, and,
Yeah,
like, this
like,
might not even be the first magical girl she's groomed.
Yeah.
Like...
And there was a shot there where Madoka is talking about, oh, it made me so happy to think that I could be like you. And you see a shot of Mami's face, and it's just like, no.
Dead. Yeah.
Like, there is no smile on her lips at that.
Oh, hold on. We're on a bridge right now.
Yeah, we're on a bridge.
We're on a bridge, and there were, like, these figures kind of suspended above, almost like a carnival, like they were upside down. But more like all the candy in the background is on hooks.
It's on fish hooks.
Bait.
It's on fish hooks.
Bait.
Because this is bait.
Yep.
This is magical girl bait.
And there's birthday candles in the background.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this
These are totally J. Caesar lyrics.
I know. Like, visually, these are
It's
J.
just like-
Caesar lyrics.
What does this mean? Nothing, but everything too.
But, like,
Enjoy.
going from Mami's really, like, expressionless face to suddenly, oh, I won't be alone anymore, is just really, that's what's giving me the movie anthe vibes. Like, that and the I'm really not worth looking up to line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I only pretend, blah, 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 but then she, like, whatever it is, it clearly didn't take much encouraging for her to break down.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, she has, I mean, Mami really has, I want to say very low self-worth.
Yeah,
She
really
kind of
does.
sees her life as almost a fluke, like she was supposed to die anyway.
Yeah.
So she doesn't really see it as being a big deal to fight these witches and spend all her time doing it, because she doesn't see her life as having much meaning aside from that, because that's the only reason she's alive.
It's like she's already taken the...
Yeah,
she's
so
already had the price paid, sort of.
For Madoka to say that she wants to be like her, like, Mami didn't... She's doing this because she doesn't really have a choice to do it. So that's why she's saying, like, I'm not really that admirable, you know that, right?
Yeah.
And she basically confesses that she's been keeping it together this whole time because she's the senpai, and she's trying to be a good example for them. But, you know, really this whole time she actually really does want them to be magical girls, because because she's apparently very alone, and she really doesn't like being all by herself doing this.
Yeah.
So she has this moment here of emotional vulnerability instead of trying to act like a badass.
Well, but that's kind of like what I'm talking about here. Even if it is emotional vulnerability, it is still a manipulative move.
Yeah.
She still has a certain end in mind.
That gets her Madoka as an ally.
And while this conversation is happening, there's a shot where there's a bunch of pills floating down, around them. And then momentarily later, when the conversation shifts to, well, I'll be with you, and she's starting to think, oh my god, she's really gonna stay and be my Tomodachi. Then lights come up from the bottom up instead. So it's kind of like this, like, here, swallow the pill, and then your mood is elevated afterwards.
That's like some interesting staging they've got.
Yeah, like it's
really neat.
Yeah. She just drank the
Kool-Aid.
Take your fucking meds.
Yep.
They'll make you feel better.
And that makes this line all the creepier here when Mami says, well, if you can't think of anything else, then we'll just wish for Kyuubey to give us a great big cake.
Which, it's a very weird thing for her to say.
Okay.
Considering how much she was like, you gotta think about your wish really hard.
And that they're surrounded by sweets on hooks.
Yeah, and surrounded by sweets on hooks. That's bait imagery being candles around them.
Yeah.
And on top of that, this is what I was thinking about with the soul gem, and this is like kind of where this started to coalesce a little bit more for me, is like they're talking about having Kyuubey give a wish for a great big fabulous cake in a place where clearly there is a being who really only wanted
a cake,
sweets of some sort.
And then
you know what I mean? Like, there's just too many parallels.
And the whole question in play is they're walking through these birthday candles and all these sweets on hooks, and how, like, it almost feels like this entire setup is about what Madoka wants. Like, it's framed in this cake, but what she really wants is this pursuit, and she wants to be this cool magical girl. And like you're putting it with the cake, but a gigantic cake is also not good for you. Even if it's a tasty bait on a hook.
Yeah, it's not. And she's trying to explain to Mami, like, listen, the reward itself is the quote unquote bad side of this contract for me. Like, I literally don't want anything else. Like, this alone is what I want.
Yeah.
And Mami, like,
at least get a cake out of it.
Mami just, what I'm trying to say is that, like, Mami doesn't really see, I feel like for Mami as a character, like, she doesn't really have the same perspective on the wishes as everybody else does, because she basically had no choice and didn't get to think about it. And she sees this as, well, this is just what I'm doing now, so it doesn't really bother me that much that I have to spend all my time doing this, because I have no other life outside of this anyway. I wouldn't, you know?
Like, she thinks of it as, like, bought time instead of a privilege.
Yeah. So she very quickly drops all of her concern for them making a wise wish.
Now that she's standing to get something out of it. Now that she sees that it would be good for Madoka to be a witch hunter. Ooh. Whatever. Freud, maybe. But probably, like, there's this, now that she has a vested interest in this turning out this way, it's a lot harder for her to be like, no, you really need to think about this.
Yeah.
Yep.
And all right, so
here we go.
Basically at that moment, they find Sayaka and Kyuubey, and Mami does her adorable magical girl transformation. So cute. Love it.
It really
Love her
is
outfit.
Love her music. Her music is beautiful.
Amazing.
She straight up pulled one out of her chest, Utena style.
Pulled a gun out of her chest. Yes.
That's we see a shot where there's, like, crowds and huge, like, almost like a huge army of these familiars with the rat tails. And she basically just jumps down off the bridge and starts fucking them up with all her dozens of guns. And it's a really nicely animated fight, honestly.
Those little minion guys also kind of look like flies.
Yeah, they've got
little
like
antenna thingies.
Yeah.
like,
and then she starts going off about how I feel so light today, and this is the first time.
Oh.
And I'm like, I've seen this scene before.
I've seen it in Evangelion.
Yeah, this is big Asuka about to get torn apart by like 20 fucking Evangelions energy right here.
That was like that's some major death energy.
Yeah, so like the moment she started in with this, I was like, oh shit, she's gonna fight it. This is literally Asuka about to get fucked. So
yeah.
She's getting death flagged right here.
For sure.
She just got something she really wanted, and also now she feels really happy while she's fighting. Definitely gonna die.
You're dead.
Yep.
This is done. Also, I noticed that the medical imagery came back like in full force for a minute there, but I don't know if that's necessarily anything.
I don't know.
Medical imagery, pew pew pew.
Because I don't know. It's interesting because I feel like you could really dig into that to the point where you would be able to figure out what the logic was.
The witch like comes out of a box that looks like it's like chocolates box or a cookie box or something like that, which is
and so she bursts out of like a box and she lands in a chair with really tall legs.
Yeah, high chair.
It's like a tea table, like for eating snacks or having like breakfast.
Oh, holy shit!
Is this like a child? Is this witch like a child?
I feel like it is, yeah.
I mean, it is kind of childlike, yeah.
Yeah, she looks totally childlike. She's on a high chair. Her theme is like all this candy in this hospital.
The other cat is speaking up for once.
Hello, Sam.
Oh, now you're going to be silent.
All right, so this witch is the name of...
Anyway.
Let's learn about this witch here.
If that's a thing, because there's just a lot of... Like, the high chair is really super, like...
Yeah. Well, and then, I mean, this is the same kind of setup that you have when you're a kid and you're giving a tea party for your stuffed animals. Which really is creepy with the...
And this one's not the same trippy, like, cutouts mixed media one as the...
Yeah, the witch itself is a bit more animated in this episode. Yeah.
I do want to point out one thing. Like, the creepiest part of this whole tea party setup for me is the fact that at the end of it, we see Mami's teacup broken.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. We'll get to that. We
will get to that, but I just wanted to mention it while I was thinking of it.
Boy, that teacup breaking, that gets some mileage in our shit.
Mm-hmm.
So, this witch is named Charlotte, as in Charlotte's Web. So that same Charlotte. She's here's the info, like the Pokedex info, basically.
I've been waiting for this. Yeah. I'm interested.
I'm down. Let's do this.
She is the Witch of Sweets. And so it says, her description is, the Witch of Sweets, her nature is tenacity. She desires everything. She will never give up. Though she is capable of creating infinite amounts of any dessert she desires, she is unable to make the cheese that she loves the most. One could easily catch her off guard with a piece of cheese.
There was a piece of cheese in a couple of the shots in the labyrinth.
Yeah.
So that tracks.
Interesting.
All the sweets in the world, and she just wants some cheese.
I mean, cheese is better.
Big mood.
Her little minions are called, I don't know how to pronounce it, Pyotr, Pyotr. Those are the little eyeball ones with the rat tails.
Pyotr is Peter, but Russian. As far as I know.
Okay.
Yeah. 1 second. One sec, because my cats are, like, flipping out because they're hungry or something.
Yeah, you can cut that. I see. Yes, Mama loves
Aw, kitty.
Yes. Yeah. Pyotr.
Definitely do not look up any of these witches, by the way, because it's full of spoilers.
I'm not. I just looked up the name. Pyotr.
Okay, good.
A rock. But yeah, that's interesting. Peter, huh?
I wonder.
Does it say anything else about Charlotte?
Oh, this is actually looking at the wiki page right now. So Pyotr its duty is to search for cheese. However, one shouldn't expect much from it, is what it says.
Well, that would explain the rat tails.
Well, there's no... Yeah, it does. Oh, I get it now, yeah. And there's no eyes, so not the best at finding.
And another thing this says is that Piotr, it's actually not a bullseye, it's a stamp.
Yeah,
their
there's
faces,
been like the stamps, yeah.
Yeah, their faces are actually stamps. They'll headbutt anything that moves, instantly determining whether or not it's cheese and marking it with either a cheese approval stamp or a not cheese stamp.
Oh. Just like on the pill bottles. A few of the pill bottles had stamps on them.
Yeah.
With swirlies on them. Interesting. But there was cheese in the labyrinth, which I definitely saw some
found, I guess.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, well, that's funny, but maybe, it's sweet cheese? I don't know. It was drawn like Swiss cheese, like cartoon Swiss cheese. And that was a goldfish.
Yeah?
One
sec.
There. Yeah. In the background is a goldfish, but it's the chocolate goldfish.
Oh, interesting.
Not chocolate. The cheese goldfish.
Are they taiyaki? Is that what they're called?
Maybe.
Oh, yeah, they would be in Japan, wouldn't they? Yeah.
I thought
taiyaki.
Depends.
Yeah, I thought of those like cheese goldfish, but I guess they could be.
I think it was a taiyaki, which are those fish pastries that are filled with like
we had some
chocolate. Yeah,
yeah,
we had some. When we were in Japan. Actually, I got because it was cherry blossom season. I got the cherry blossom filling.
They were good.
Oh, that's
so
cute.
good. So good.
When I like how she just blasts it in the head too.
Yeah,
sorry, Amanda.
It's okay. She just shoots him not
directly,
even thinking about it.
Yeah,
Charlotte really is not putting up much of a fight here.
No,
at the beginning at least. Yeah.
What'd you eat in Japan?
Oh, so when I was in Japan for my honeymoon, and this is a total sidebar, but we got some taiyaki that were shaped like Magikarp from Pokemon.
Oh, cool! That's awesome.
It was very cute. They were delicious.
Yeah, I think we first had taiyaki at the the night market in Richmond.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
When we went to Vancouver that time.
Yep.
That was the first time we had taiyaki. And we had we had like peanut butter or something in it. Peanut butter and condensed milk or something like that. It was so good.
I miss living in a city where I can get good food like that whenever I want.
Oh, yeah.
Instead, I'm in South Florida, which is like the worst of the like chain restaurant in every corner kind of culture. Yeah,
I know.
No, I mean Vanna used to live in Homestead.
Yeah, so you
get what I mean. Even Homestead has more than
sushi place. You should tell her about that sushi place.
Which Matsuri?
That's the one where the guy gets it flown in like every day.
No, he's closed.
Oh, did he? Oh,
yeah,
no.
Japanese market closed. We had one good sushi place, but yeah, no, I don't miss trying to eat down there. It was a challenge.
It's crazy. Unless you want Cuban or Mexican food, there's tons.
Then it's great, but
yeah.
After that, you are on your own.
Yeah.
Also, like. Yeah, this one's not putting up much of a fight. And this fucker pops out of its mouth.
Yeah, she Tiro finales Charlotte, and instead of dying, this giant smiling worm creature, like clown worm creature, pops out, zooms in real quick, and we go slow-mo, and suddenly we cut to Homura being released from those ribbons.
And we know what that means.
Yeah.
That means she dead.
But
I don't buy it. I don't buy it.
Oh, you don't think she's dead?
I think either she's gonna come back somehow, like
this is a straight up Kaworu.
Madoka might wish her back, if that's possible. Something's gonna happen where we're gonna run into Mami again. I do not believe that she is gone.
But is she gonna give head?
Probably not.
Oh my god.
I lost it.
Sorry, like when we did this in a stream, like the stream for like the next 20 minutes was nothing but like losing your head.
She'll never be the head of a major corporation now.
No. It's really not flattering for a magical girl to lose her head in a fight.
It's not. It's not.
And come on, it's totally a Kaworu thing.
Yeah, I believe it. I do believe it, especially with the positioning that I've got it stopped on here.
Yeah.
Which is basically the same as...
Yeah.
This has got a lot of, like, Ava feels to it.
It's hard for anyone to make anything anime without...
it being Ava.
Yeah.
So,
but yeah, like
you can... So there's a shot where it's just her body in the air, and then she loses her magical transformation. And honestly, if you watch it really closely, when the body falls, it is headless. So it literally bit her head off.
Yep.
And I want to, if you'd pause it for a second, there's one thing I wanted to point out.
Okay.
So you guys are going to eventually see what other girls' soul gems look like. Mm-hmm. But I will say that what they all do when they transform, all of these soul gems become a part of their costume. So if you remember, Homura has like a diamond on the back of her hand.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's her soul gem.
Okay. And this one was her ring.
And then, well, in this, do you remember that Mami had like a yellow flower-shaped gem like on the side of her hat?
Yeah.
So that was her soul gem. So the witch basically just bit her head off
to get the soul gem.
Yeah. I think so. Yeah.
Cool. Nice.
So I always thought that was interesting. It's very I mean, most of what I want to say is stuff for after you guys can't be spoiled.
Well, like,
I guess we'll get to that later.
Interest in consuming them, because like you know that they're fighting them, but up until this point, you don't really know what the witch is actually trying to do aside from kill them.
I would have missed that the witch had consumed the soul gem. I would have missed that because I wasn't necessarily sure which part of the outfit the soul gem was, but that makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense because if the magical girls can consume the grief seeds,
then vice versa.
Yeah. So
it's the great balance.
Exactly. So the two girls are
some real like Darwinistic
a little bit
from this.
Don't let all of this analysis get to your head though.
I know. Because, if I get too deep into it, I'll just lose my head.
Mm-hmm. So the two girls are horrified that they just saw Mami die.
And Kyuubey is immediately like, oh my god, make a contract with me.
Yeah, like, Jesus, Kyuubey.
Back off. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Like you're gonna... car salesman.
Yeah. Oh, well, now you have to. You're gonna die kind of situation.
Kyuubey is, to me, at this point, I'm waiting for his arms to start doing
Oh my god, like Stan from Monkey Island. Oh my god.
Okay, that might be a bit of a dated reference.
I don't know that one.
We'll show you.
It's a very old video. But the character is a used car salesman that's like really, really
Except
pushy.
It's not a car, it's
salesman.
But rack and pinion steering and porthole defoggers and again that vibe
like,
from
Kyuubey's totally just he's so
pushy.
Used car salesman swinging his arms around like, I'm gonna make this fucking sale if it's the last thing I do.
Yep.
Meanwhile, this like weird worm thing that looks like a carnival toy is trying to destroy
I keep thinking that it looks like something in specific. Like
what is that?
It really reminds me of the logo from some kind of candy or something.
You know what it looks like? It looks like kind of like the face you see on those like Jack in the Boxes sometimes. Mm-hmm. Not like specifically a Jack in the Box, but the kind of thing that pops out of them.
Yeah.
Or, we're talking about Charlotte right now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what it reminds me of? Do you know the Milky Girl?
Milky Girl.
There's a Japanese candy that is called Milky. That has a mascot that is like this smiling little girl. Let me see if I can find a picture.
Yeah, we're looking.
All right, if you type in Milky Japanese candy.
Let's see. Peko-chan.
Yeah. Oh, with the eyelashes and the tongue sticking out?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I see what you
mean. It reminds me a little bit of that.
Yeah,
there's something
she's
closer.
Like, it just looks like something that would be a candy mascot.
There's something closer to it because what's pinging on my radar is the use of the kind of orange red and the blue for the ears. That and the conical nose. I don't know
that just
what
means
that's
it's a
from.
movie poster from the last decade.
No. Look, orange and blue are not the only colors they use in any way. That's a orange, not just an orange.
That's bullshit. They're all orange.
I would just say it's red.
Yeah. But it's definitely very...
Yeah.
But I mean, it's childlike and fits with the whole...
Yeah.
candy
thing. And
so Homura shows up to save them from becoming magical girls and basically beats the witch on her own.
Yeah.
Yes.
She's a badass.
Yes.
I mean, obviously.
And there's all these... She doesn't even seem to be doing anything. There's just these explosions around the witch.
Well, she does that thing from hopping from table to table.
Perfect Blue thing.
Yeah, that really reminded me of Perfect Blue, actually. Have you ever seen Perfect Blue?
I have not. I'm too chicken. I heard it's a horror movie.
I
don't like horror movies.
You might like it, actually.
Okay.
It's
all right.
less, I would say less a
it
horror
on
than
what
it is
you find
suspense.
horrifying.
Yeah.
It's more suspenseful than horrifying.
It's not so much about, like, I don't know, I can't remember.
It's got some pretty dark scenes.
It's dark.
It's definitely a trigger warning kind of.
It is, it's definitely trigger warning territory, but it's not like, ooh, jump scares
shots
or anything like that.
Yeah, okay, alright. Maybe I'll watch it eventually.
Hey, if you want to watch it with us sometime.
Oh, sure. Yeah, that would be fun.
It's not hard to convince us to watch Perfect Blue.
It's a fucking amazing movie.
I know the animation is good because I've seen tons of GIFs from it, and it looks very cool. Yeah.
It's very good.
But there's a shot, there's a specific scene in Perfect Blue where you don't know this character, Amanda, but virtual Mima jumps off of the real Mima's balcony and hops from the top of each streetlight to the next, all the way like down the street.
But you know what?
And
now that I'm thinking of it, that shot is almost definitely a reference to like a magical girl trope.
Really?
Like,
that's right. She's wearing that outfit.
Yeah,
and everything.
I'm 100% sure I've seen that shot in Sailor Moon, and
We've got
seen
recursive references
like
going on.
Of Sailor
we do.
Moon, so
we do.
So, but like Sailor Moon does it like innocently. Perfect Blue does it creepily. And Madoka's like, it's both, enjoy!
Exactly.
It's the evolution of this one trope from, like, adorable to horror to...
Yeah. But yeah, that really does strongly remind me of that, like the way that Homura is hopping from table to table.
Yeah, totally.
And then
boom, it's dead.
Yeah.
Because Homura is, a badass and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like, a part of its body, like, flops to the ground like goo. And she basically, like, no reaction whatsoever to Mami's death. She just walks over to them and scolds them for not doing anything, basically.
Yep.
And then we have that very unnerving shot of the broken teacup with bloody broken teacup with the grief seed that fell out.
Damn broken teacups.
Yeah.
That's like and this, and an Uchina, and Hannibal, they're just fucking everywhere.
Everything we like has broken teacups in it, I swear to God.
That sure is a symbol of a thing.
Not really sure what it's a symbol of.
Dead magical girls, obviously.
Dead magical girls. I mean, are you saying that Hannibal's little sister was a magical girl?
Yes. So yeah.
The grief.
Okay, yeah. So we've got like 3 minutes left of this.
Yeah.
Panda's gonna hate us for this being so long.
Sorry, Panda.
Sorry, Panda.
There's a lot to unpack.
There is. There really is. So Homura's like, you need to remember this scene because this is what being a magical is really about. Mm-hmm. And
which is very
the labyrinth fades away. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And the labyrinth fades away, and she picks up the grief seed, and Sayaka is like, she's ready to get on her soapbox and advocate for the right thing, because that's the kind of person that Sayaka is. And she's like, you need to give that to us, because that's Mami. That's Mami's, although I don't know what the hell Sayaka...
Yeah, I know, like, what's she gonna do with it?
Yeah. But she's just upset, like, this bitch that I hate came along and took the thing that Mami was trying to get after Mami fought the monster. But Homura's like, well, you can't have it because this is something for magical girls only. And then she walks off, and her and Sayaka and Madoka are just sobbing. And that's the end of the episode.
It feels like she kind of fucked up, because she has this that first thing, and she's like, this is what it means to be a magical girl, you'll die, don't fuck around. And then, like, right after, she's like, oh, this is for magical girls only?
Mm-hmm.
Which I feel like is kind of fucking up the discouragement a bit.
Yeah.
That's just like, now you're just goading them. This is not the best strategery.
I mean, that's pretty honest, though. What the fuck are they gonna do with a grief seed?
Yeah, it is. But it just,
like,
if I were trying to manipulate people into not doing a thing, I wouldn't be like, oh, this is for people who did this thing only.
Yeah.
That's...
Yeah.
On the other hand, if there's some kind of danger they could come to from having a grief seed...
Yeah, but they don't know that.
I don't know.
They want... All they know is they want the grief seed, and she said you can't have it because you're a magical girl. Mm. And that's just...
Because you're not a magical girl.
Yeah.
But, yeah, no, I get what you're saying. It's just, it doesn't seem to me to be as clear-cut as just, oh, well, this is for us only.
Yeah.
So,
I'm just saying it's a poor manipulative move.
It is a poor manipulative move.
And then we get a different...
She's not
closing.
Toga. Yeah, then we get this different closing.
Is this like
so
the
this is the permanent closing. So they used the cute, sweet, innocent shoujo ending for the first 2 episodes, and then now the shit has hit the fan, and you're seeing what kind of show this really is. They're using the real ending.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
It's good. Actually, I like this one quite a bit more. And I find it interesting that Homura's silhouette is the only one, aside from Madoka's, that moves.
Yes.
Yeah, she's gonna follow her.
And Mami, I think, is the only one that is on her knees
sitting.
or sitting down.
Yeah.
She's dead.
Yeah, so it's just, I don't know. The ending theme on this is just really good. Like,
I love the ending theme.
It's super.
I actually dreamed of it a couple of times because I have a pretty I have a pretty good memory of music. I used to be in choirs a lot when I was a little kid, and so it doesn't take me very many listens to have something stuck in my head. And this showed up in my dreams a couple of times. This ending with this music, it was neat.
Yeah, it is a cool ending.
Mm.
Yeah, and it's basically an ending where she slowly runs off into the darkness, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And into, like, the eye of a beast.
Yes, then we get another voyeurism ding at the end.
Ding, ding.
Oh, eyes.
Yep.
Yeah, well, she's
and she appears to be naked.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and she's doing that, like, floaty, contemplative child pose that you see everywhere.
Yeah, like the fetal position
kind
of thing.
Yeah.
The rays.
Yeah.
Yep.
That eye dough.
Yep.
It almost like at first when I first saw it, I thought that it was supposed to make you think it was the moon, but
no. It's
also there's like this little picture at the end, and Kyuubey looks all chubby.
So does Madoka, though.
Like, did we start feeding him? Is he now ours, and we just letting him?
Did we actually fatten Kyuubey?
We fattened up Kyuubey. That's what we do. Come hang out with us.
But no, so does Madoka.
So like, is Madoka's soul gem that little thing on her necklace there?
Yeah, so you can see it there, right? Yeah. Like that's her soul gem. That little it's like a circle, and then it's a long oval underneath the circle.
It's a yonic image.
Oh my god.
What is it?
Don't even start. She called it a yonic image.
It's a vagina. It's a pussy.
Oh my god.
Look, the little circle.
You're
oh my god.
You're so bullshit.
Look, I tried to use the dignified term, okay?
You're such a shithead.
Oh my god. I mean, you're not wrong. It's kind of... It is.
Okay, here's
kind
the
of,
thing
but
about
I
when
really
you go,
don't think that was a consideration.
The thing about when you go, ooh, phallic imagery, or ooh, yonic imagery, there's a difference between when that's done on purpose and when that's done not on purpose, but because it's so socially ingrained as an image in people's heads.
Yeah.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
Like, it could be yonic imagery just because that is a shape that people think of a lot, and that has a different meaning, and, somewhat lesser of one, than when it's like, oh, this tower is literally shaped like a penis on purpose. I don't think they sat there and went, ooh, we're gonna make a vagina out of her necklace.
Well, okay, if you really wanted to take that and run with it all the way, that's a vaginal opening directly over her heart. So
yes.
Make what you will of that.
This is Madoka read by Uchina Trash. Enjoy. It's all genitals.
Oh my god.
I'm sorry. I can't control her.
It's okay. I would not have it any other way.
I'm not seriously suggesting that is a deliberate
I know.
But
it's
fun. Moment.
It is fun.
It is fun, though.
All right, so that was episode 3. So that is the big seminal episode of Madoka Magica, where everything kind of just takes off.
Seminal?
Oh, come on!
Well, Kyuubey clearly thinks so.
Oh, Jesus. Let's not.
This was definitely Kyuubey's jam. Kyuubey was absolutely like, I am perfectly content to sacrifice this one to get this two.
Yeah. Big time.
The way Kyuubey, I just get the impression this whole thing was a setup where it was understood that he was probably going to spend 1 to get 2.
Yep.
And he seems to be cool with that.
That's how I feel about it, too, honestly. Like, it seems to me that it might even have been spend 2 to get 2. Because he really doesn't seem to give a shit about Homura.
Well, Homura is being kind of a little brat as far as he's concerned.
Yeah. She's not falling in line and doing what he wants her to, so...
Yeah.
So he's probably like, whatever about her. And then Mami...
Exactly.
I get the feeling, like, just from the things that we've said about it and all of that, that Mami is maybe not the strongest.
Yeah.
But she's experienced, and so that makes up for it.
The problem is, I get the impression experience after a while
doesn't really count for that
helpful.
much. Yeah.
Because they're magical girls. Experience is almost like not what they're about. They're about goodness, sweetness, innocence, pureness, and all that crap. So you clearly, like, I would imagine you can age out of being a magical girl. Like, I don't see any, like, 25-year-old jaded-ass college student
that's
magical
another
girls
thing
in this anime.
that I keep thinking about is what happens to a magical girl after, she's no longer a girl? What happens when she becomes
there aren't any magical women.
A grown-up?
Maybe we'll see what happens. Maybe that comes up later.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it does.
Yeah.
I remember,
very
thinking,
sure.
like, Sailor, Uranus, and Neptune were, like, I remember thinking, God, they're awfully old.
Yeah. They're actually not. They're only 2 years older than the other
I found
ones.
that out later, and I'm like, punked. Come on.
There is some discussion that we could have here about Mami, and I'm trying to decide whether it's spoilers or not. I actually don't think it's spoilers.
Okay.
So the thing about Mami, and this is from material outside the show. I think this is from an interview or something. Mm-hmm. But I think Gen Urobuchi has explained that Mami's power comes from being by herself, and that she gets distracted when she's not alone. So actually, that whole thing with, I'm not going to be alone anymore, I'm so happy, was actually what caused her downfall. Because then she was not paying attention, not taking things seriously. Once she has something else to live for, when she has other people around her and there's some other purpose to her life other than being a magical girl, that's when she loses her strength. Like, she works best by herself.
Worked for her.
Yeah, she works best by herself. So I think that is part of the basic idea behind her character, basically.
Mm-hmm. And that's why she can survive.
That spelled her ending. As soon as she got somebody that she could rely on, she was off her game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it definitely, like, the way she dies, like, it feels like there's a good moment there where she's just frozen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's not a moment where it happens so suddenly that you feel like, oh, well, she didn't have a chance to respond. Because for a second, she's just staring at it. Like, like, it just doesn't occur to her to just pull another gun out of her ass, which she can do. But she doesn't. She's frozen.
She was so expecting that Tiro finale to kill the stuffed animal version of Charlotte. Yeah. She wasn't expecting the big clown snake version of Charlotte to even be a thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That I found. But that's interesting. Like, that's a sad... That tracks a lot with this whole, like, Gen Urobuchi not the happiest, most emotionally healthy person, that he would be like, well, sometimes it's better when you're alone.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, rest in pepperoni, Mami Tomoe.
I still don't buy it. I still don't buy it. I think we're going to see Mami again.
She's like, I'm going to see zombie
Mami,
or Mami the witch.
Yeah, something like that. Something like that, because I just don't...
I don't know. In a show with so few characters, to get rid of somebody who's actually in the intro, and I know this is like meta, like looking at the context of the show, this isn't something that you would get probably, but the fact that she's in the intro, I mean, we'll have to pay attention next time and make sure whether she's still in it, but if she's still in the intro, that's basically to me going to be like, yeah, she's going to show up again.
Yeah, like, I can understand that, but it might also be a Ned Stark thing.
It might be.
It's like, oh no, this is proof we're taking.
I'm not here to be right. I'm here to have theories. Okay.
yeah. Give me those theories. That's what we want.
Yeah, but no, I think we're gonna see Mami again. Either Madoka's gonna resurrect her, or she's gonna be a witch. Yeah, that's how I feel.
Like that.
That's how I feel about it.
If we see her again, it's not going to be under good circumstances.
I don't really get
It's going to be because something went wrong and a bad decision was made or something.
So basically, we're just expecting this to slide right down into the sewer from here.
This episode definitely like took a turn for the gutter as far as like.
I mean, the gutter is where the sexy stuff is. Right, the sewer is where all the shit goes.
The show does. The show does not get more uplifting from here until maybe the very end.
That's why I liked this episode, though. Like, I'm very much.
It's like now you're working on our level.
Like, nope, this is unambiguously a bad thing. Yeah. However shiny it is, however fun it is, however cute Kyuubey is, and however cute the outfits are. This is unambiguously not even foreshadowed to be a bad thing. It is definitely a bad thing. I didn't look up that
game.
You just don't know what kind of bad thing it is.
I gotta look up that game. The Magical Girl game. I kept on like mentally reminding myself whenever I wasn't near a computer.
That's okay.
Yeah, no, anyway. I'll get that sorted before we record again. But yeah, no, like this is just appealing on our level now because we just can't relate to happy things.
Our trash house now.
We don't like happy. It doesn't do anything for us.
We're happy now because nobody else is. But anyway, I'm looking forward to more. So I guess at this point we're just recording our wrap up. So wait, did we have any questions?
Oh yeah, let's see if we have any Curiouscat questions. I have to jump through a couple hoops to get there, because you have to be logged into your Twitter. So, 1 second.
Mm-hmm. Big mood. I have too many Twitter accounts and I get confused now.
Oh, yeah, we have, so here's a question from Sen.
Oh, yeah!
Hi, Sen!
Oh, Lord. Lord help us.
Sen wants to know, what are your respective histories with magical girl anime, and why were you drawn to / away from it? Do you think it has potential to be feminist, or do you have a more negative reception to the idea of it being empowering? Also, fuck you, Yasha. Evangelion is thematically complex with a cast as strong as Utena. Fucking fight me. Also, I love you.
Sen, I will fight you any day. Any day.
That is a great question, but because this episode is so long, why don't we save that for the beginning of next episode?
For sure. But I'm still gonna fight.
I'll fight Sen think about our answers there anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, all right. Okay. And then maybe to close off this episode, what would be our one wish for this episode?
Ooh, let's see. To be honest, I don't really have a wish for this episode because this just straight up hit all the spots.
Yeah, this episode is great. Yep. It is honestly great.
Yeah. This episode, I think, was like basically as good as it could get.
We get a lot more character development. We get a lot more background development. We get another witch, which adds to my, the whole symbology and visual language that the like my ability to figure that out, which is something I'm like, I always want more of that.
You get this like really great escalation in the stakes.
Yep. Big escalation.
Yeah.
I love big escalations like that. And
absolutely.
Grief. That's really just a great place to end for this.
Yeah, it makes you say, like, what could possibly happen next now?
Yeah.
Yeah, like, where is this going?
Here?
Yeah.
But, I mean, we're, like, on a sled going down the side of Shit Mountain now. This is what's happening.
With Kyuubey's shadow cast over the mountain.
Yeah. Let's see. If I had one wish for this episode, I would wish for a loving family who would get me into bed after I got fucked up drunk with my coworkers.
That is a nice
You know what?
deal.
No. I would wish for the city infrastructure to allow me to come home on foot drunk and be safe.
Nice.
And instead of having to drive home in a car because we live in America and we hate public transportation.
Oh God!
I have a wish now. I wish that camera hadn't been under those chairs.
Oh God! Yeah,
we didn't need that shot. That shot was much.
Yeah, like yee.
That was
way to make me feel like a creeper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That shot is why phones have to click in Japan.
Yes, it is. And you're not even joking. I'm not even joking.
That is a thing. Totally.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Actually, do you remember that was how we got away with taking all of those pictures at the...
That's right! Nobody would have been listening.
Exactly.
Nobody would have been looking at us.
Yeah, that's how we got away with taking all those pictures at the Uten exhibit.
Yeah, at the Uten exhibit, I was like taking all these pictures when
you're
not
like, don't
supposed
take
to. No picture, and I'm like, picture. And I just figured that nobody was going to bother this like chubby guy who dressed like Akio with a camera. But now that I think of it, they didn't really think to look because they would have heard the clicks, they figured.
Yeah, exactly.
I wasn't making any clicks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. So, anyway, that wraps up episode 3. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Let's do our standard social media drop here at the end. Mm-hmm. If you want to follow me on Twitter, you can do that at Lambda Power. So that's Lambda like the Greek letter. And then Power, and then I have a bunch of other links to everything else I do, my artwork, visual novels, all the other stuff that I like to work on. You guys?
You can find everything about us should you want to, which you probably shouldn't want to. That's probably a bad idea. But anyway.
No, they do great stuff.
You can find us at ohtori.nu, and all of our stuff is linked there, our Twitter, our Tumblr, and soon to be Pillow Fort, which we have just registered for.
Yeah, I like Pillow Fort personally.
Yeah.
I have one. I don't use it enough, but
the Utena group is dead. We're gonna change it.
We're gonna fix that. Ball rolling.
All right, good.
Cool.
Good. And then we may be launching a Patreon soon to help us pay for the editing and all the time we put into producing this for you guys. So if that happens, we'll probably have a link to plug for y'all in the next episode. Maybe that might be ready to go by the time we record next. Maybe. We'll have to see. Yeah. All right. So thanks for listening, and we'll see you at the next episode, guys.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Oh no. Oh, I've been recording. Hold on.